Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be talking about why the yen has been so weak this week. Why has the yen lost strength? This is something that I've been sort of predicting for a while now. The yen will continue losing strength into 2021, in my opinion, and then it will probably stabilize a bit. Um, a few months into 2021, or maybe 2, 3 months into it. Anyways, that's what I think. But I've been saying the yen will continue to weaken. And why is this week and last week, why is the yen so weak? And really, the yen is based around optimism and fear. Why is that? Well, that's because the yen is a safe haven, meaning investors park their money into it when they're scared, when there's fear, when there's bad stuff happening, right? So at the start of Corona, right, in March, we saw obviously the stock market sell off. Why does the stock market usually sell off? Because there's fear, there's bad stuff happening. So right, the stock market is sort of the opposite of a safe haven. So what that means is when there's optimism, when there's good stuff going on, the yen investors will take their money out, right? Put it somewhere else because it's a safe haven. They only put their money in when there's bad stuff happening. And so the yen weakened so much because there's lots of good or somewhat good news happening, right? We have vaccine, we have finally a vaccine. Let's just start there. A few weeks ago, we finally have a few working vaccines that have 90% efficiency. That's really great news for the world, right? So that partially really good. It means there's light at the end of the tunnel, from this whole Corona pandemic. Next, what happened? Well, just lately, in the last week or two, we had, I believe it was Moderna. I think I've spelled that wrong. My apologies. Anyways, Moderna, however you say it, company with a vaccine, applied for use, right? Applied for it to finally be approved and distributed to the public. Also, very amazing news in terms of the pandemic and opening things back up. So they applied to the EU, right? Obviously, that's a huge economic driver, the European Union, and in the US. So, obviously, really big economies. They applied, which is great news. The EU and the US are expected to approve it, very shortly, which all this is very good, and all this creates optimism, and all this is driving yen weakness. Now, in the last week, we got some other things, some involving the vaccine, some not, that have also helped on this train of optimism. One of those things is the UK, right? Great Britain, United Kingdom. They approved a vaccine. They're the first to approve, right? You know how I said they applied to the EU and the US? The UK approved it, the first Western country to do so, which is amazing news for the entire world. Now, okay, I know some of you guys feel differently about a vaccine and all that good stuff, and that's fine. But we're just talking in terms of the markets here, right? In terms of markets, that's amazing news. It creates a lot of optimism with investors. And what does this mean? It means they're going to take the money out of the yen. They're going to put it into stocks, right? We've seen the stock market rally the past few weeks. They're going to put it into, I don't know, riskier currencies like the Australian dollar, right? We've seen that appreciate. So basically, they just move their money out of the yen into places they can get a better return. So the UK news, they just approved it. They're going to start distributing it very, very, very shortly to high risk groups. Those with diabetes, elderly, etc. And the last piece here, the last piece of the puzzle of why the yen has been so weak, a big one is this week. We finally got updates on U.S. fiscal stimulus. What does that mean? For those who are newer to economics or fundamental analysis, fiscal stimulus is a fancy word for government stimulus. So it's not a central bank doing it. Although a central bank is kind of a part of the government, that's monetary policy. This is fiscal policy. Fiscal stimulus is when the government, at least in the U.S., it's when like Congress and the Senate pass a stimulus. Like at the beginning of the corona pandemic, when they sent out those $1,200 checks to all Americans, that's an example of fiscal stimulus, right? The central bank didn't do that. The central bank didn't cut rates. So this is just another way to prop up the economy. We finally got updates about fiscal stimulus. They tried to get one done. They tried to get a stimulus package done before the elections. That didn't happen, which caused investors to be less optimistic. But now we finally got an update. So basically, what we've seen so far this week is they're finally working together. Democrats, Republicans, they're finally working together to come up with the deal. There's not one done yet, right? They're still talking back and forth. You got the Republicans, you got the Democrats. The Republicans don't want a huge deal. They don't want to spend too much money, right? They're more conservative. The Democrats want to spend more, right? Republicans would rather spend like $500 billion. Democrats want to spend, $2-3 trillion. So they have to meet in the middle. Eventually, they're probably going to come up with a deal. But this week they're working together, and both sides have positive things to say. They're working together. Things are going good, which is what? It's good news. It's good news for investors, right? We're all talking about investors because investors, banks, institutions, those are the ones moving around these currencies, and they're the ones with all the money. So it's basically, what do they think? And it's good for them, right? More stimulus, better economy, good for the world, good for investments, right? Which in turn, they will move more money out of the yen, more money out of safe havens. That's why we've seen gold in the last 2 weeks drop heavy, right? Because they parked a lot of money in gold. Now that we're seeing vaccines start to come out, maybe some stimulus, that means, hey, things are going to be better. We don't need to hold so much gold. Let's sell some of our position, right? Very simple stuff. So I hope this cleared up for some of you guys. And if you're new to fundamentals, I hope this sort of taught you, how you should be sort of looking at things. It's not so much about data. It's more just overall general themes in the market. How does that impact risk sentiment? Because that's going to really help you trade the yen, because it's based solely around risk sentiment, essentially. Anyways, if you did gain some value, please like this video and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I come from a town where most of the people are so close-minded. They go into school and they work in a job, but they don't even like it. I won't be put in a box. Nobody telling me what I should rock. Nobody telling me what I should